Yo, what up, traders? It is 7:59, May 7th. We're going to do a little review after hours and see what went down today on the ES. So, Globex, the overnight session is open right now. Wow, look at that. Nice flush right through the previous high, right through today's high. So, I was going to say. Tonight, what to look for, we'll get into that a little later, but tonight, if we accept above this previous high, 28.95, we could be headed towards the next target higher, 29.30s. We'll get into that in a little bit. But what happened today? All right, so today, coming into the session, I like to trade New York session. That is what's the most active anyway. But I've got my charts all marked up for tomorrow. So coming into today, we were looking at yesterday's value and yesterday's overnight session. And yesterday's range had the same exact high as the overnight range, which is that 28.81. And we had a little bit of trouble staying above 28.81 for most of the session until we broke above right at E period around 11:30. That's where we broke new highs of the day, and then we put in the high of the day in the afternoon around 12, right during F period, the next period. So coming into the open, we were looking for a little correction to the downside. We didn't get any of it. We didn't get much of a correction at all in the morning. So when the overnight action is 100% long, we look for a little selling right at the open to correct, just to correct some of the overnight inventory. So we didn't get that this morning. The breadth was positive. This is the breadth chart. It's not working right now because we're in after hours, but this shows me the buying volume versus the selling volume. And today it stayed positive all day. So now, what else were we looking at? So we opened up around 28.74. Didn't get any real selling. So if you're not a market profile guy or girl, you can look on the right side, and this is the exact same thing, just on a candlesticks. And that's a 5-minute chart right there. So we opened up right here at this blue A, 28.74, right? We didn't get any real correction at the open, and this thing just kind of was moving slow and choppy for a majority of the day. So from the open till like 11 a.m., we had this thing just chopping inside yesterday's range, and was just holding, faking above, coming back in, faking above, coming back in. And that's why we wait for acceptance. That's why I wait for acceptance on most of my trades, is because you get these fake outs, and then it looks like the market's about to trend, and then it comes right back down into the range. So you kind of just got to be patient and wait. You're better off giving up some insurance, letting it go a little higher and confirming. So you don't waste your money and keep chasing this thing if it's not actually breaking out. But we finally did get a little bit of a push through yesterday's high around E period 11:30, and yeah, we made the high of the day around 11:30, 12ish, 12 o'clock. So afternoon made those highs, and then what happened? Well, we ran out of steam, and we just got a little bit of a sell-off. Nothing major. It was like a slow, controlled sell-off into the close. Just those longs got bored. They weren't getting much action to the upside, so they just puked their positions and got out. And this thing made lows around here. We left a poor low on the profile. Look at that. That is just bad. That just means the sellers are trapped and they're kind of shut off for now. 28.67 was that low right there. And now during the overnight session, well, we are hanging above today's close. We're hanging above value now, and we just saw that we just spiked through today's range. So now I'll be looking for longs as long as we can stay above this previous high. And I have some a bigger outlook, a more broader outlook, higher time frame targets here on the S&P. So the last 3 days, we could see that it was very balanced, right? The last 3 days, we just built some value, built a nice range from like 28.95 down to 28.31. Now it looks like if we break out of this 3-day balance, which it's looking like we are, it's very early in Globex right now. It's only 8 o'clock. Market's been open 2 hours, and we're getting a lot of action so far. So we're holding above today's value. We're starting to hold above today's high. Now, this is kind of a bigger picture balance area from 29.30 to 28.10. Coming into Monday, coming into this week, we did peak below this balance area. We did peak below, and it looked like, you know, the market was shifting gears, getting ready to sell a little bit early on Monday morning. But it didn't. Ended the day back inside value, back inside this bigger picture balance area, 28.10. And since then, we gapped up the next day, and then we just built value the previous 2 days. So we got this nice little 3-day balance area, and it looks like we're headed toward this 29.30s. We might wake up and this thing is 30 points higher, or we hit that tomorrow if this buying keeps up tonight. But yeah, above that 29.30s, it looks like we should be headed back to the 3,000s. It's crazy to say, but there's really, like, we have this next balance area over here. Let me just draw that out. The next level we'll accept into is like 29.63, and then above there, the next level up higher is 3,100 almost. So yeah, crazy, right? I know, it's crazy. All this bad news, and the market just doesn't seem to give a shit. It is what it is. I'm not going to fight it. Just going to go with what information the charts are giving us. That's all we could do. And kind of just block out all the news. But yeah, ever since BlackRock got the keys to the Fed, this market has just been very controlled, and they seem to just buy every bid. Every sell-off just gets bought, which is crazy, but whatever. But yeah, that's some higher targets on the S&P. Now, if at some point we do come below this 28.10, we'll look for some acceptance into 27.50. But it's not looking very likely here. Very likely that we get some more upside. Now, look, we are coming back and holding this previous high now. That's a good long. As long as this can hold above today's range high, which is what it's doing right now, it's a good long. Up into 29.17 could be a target tonight. But yeah, overall 29.30s is going to be that bigger picture target. Probably tomorrow we could be trading around that level. But what else? What else today? Crude oil had some action. I have this marked up for tomorrow. Big value built between 28.74 and 24.50s. Yeah, very big ranges on crude. I actually hit a crude oil trade on Nadex. It was a strike below 25.30, and that hit today. I'll post my free Nadex course down below if you guys want to learn about the Nadex platform. It's pretty neat stuff. But crude oil took a nice hit today, or a bad hit today, I should say. But it's coming back into today's range. And yeah, we'll see if that holds up. Next trade is going to be below 23.30s. We should see some more downside in crude. But if it could get back into value above 24.48, we should get a rotation back up to 26.73. Sorry, that was not 28.73. What I just said before, The value area high and the today's high was 26.73, not 28. That's a big difference. But yeah, back above 24.40s. We should see this rotate back up to 26.70s, only if we get some acceptance above that value area low. And that is about it. NASDAQ getting the same overnight action as the S&P, a little more aggressive than NASDAQ. So let me just mark these up for tomorrow. I didn't mark this up. I usually just trade the S&P futures, ES. But yeah, I do chart these up manually because I like, I got to switch them around every day. So it's easier for me to just do it manually. I got a whole lot of time on my hands, and I'm sure you guys do too with this coronavirus shit. So I don't mind manually doing it. So we actually closed right at value area high today. Interesting. And yeah, I'll just drag these up from yesterday. And there you go. We got some levels to look for tonight. Now, that was a very big push here, right through the previous high. This one, NASDAQ's actually getting a much stronger push through today's range high. Yeah, NASDAQ's got a much bigger ranges than the S&P. So, holds above this 91.2650, which is today's high. These longs look good. And we have a higher target here, 93.77, which is the naked point of control from what date is this? This is from February 5th, Wednesday, February 5th. The point of control is a market profile thing. It is where where price spent the most time on a given day. That's those lines you're seeing on my chart. Now, if there's a naked point of control, that just means it hasn't been traded through yet, all right? So the more prominent the point of control, like the longer it is on the profile, the wider the point of control is, the more likely it is to get retested. So we do have this higher target here on NASDAQ, 93.78. 93.78 and a quarter. But yeah, NASDAQ's been building nice value and not leaving as many gaps as the S&P. We actually, now that I say that, I see a gap right here. At 88.27 we left the gap. So again, this market's kind of leaving some poor structure behind, which is not a very good thing, but it does show it shows strength, but it's not a very, not a good thing for the people making the markets, because they're just leaving holes in the market. That is a weak structure. You don't want to leave weak structure if we're going back to all-time highs already. Because then we're just going to, free fall when it comes back down. Like we saw in, what was that, February, when the market kind of crashed very quickly. That's why. The market left gaps, it left a poor structure, and that's what happens when you leave a poor structure. Price just blows through levels like it's nothing. So those are some things to look out for. That's what I'm looking out for in these markets. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing good or well. S&P looks like it's holding above. So if this thing does hold above this previous high tonight, probably at some point look to get long back up towards this 29.17 and then 29.30. But if it does come back into this range, if we don't really accept outside of today's range, if we come back in and start holding below 28.95 and a quarter, then we can fade this move and short down to value area high and see if they'll catch a bid there again, 28.86. So that's how I'm using the profile levels to trade. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. Drop a comment if you want me to pull up something on the profile for the next video tomorrow. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great night.